19 years old in 1875. Hell bent on pushing his luck with them longhorns up north on the Chisholm Trail Drive. He told his dear mother he promised to squander no wages on women and wine. But Charlie Siringo should never have made no big promises he couldn't mind. Now Charlie spent 15 long years on the hurricane deck of a Spanish cayuse, till the boss found that barbed wire worked cheaper than Charlie. Yep, and cut old Charlie loose. He drifted to Kansas and tended a store, but 3 years was more than he could stand. So Charlie Siringo rode up to Chicago and became a Pinkerton man. Charlie Siringo, he loved a fandango, and no one can argue with that. He would ride in a minute for the pure glory in it, then fight at the drop of a hat. Like wild Texas gringo, Charlie Siringo, he rounded 'em up mighty fine. And I am a friend of old Charlie Siringo, and Charlie's an old friend of mine. Now Charlie Siringo rode down through Durango in the summer of 1899. Hot on the trail of some bad desperados wanted over the Wyoming line. The hole in the wall gang had blowed up a pay train and gotten away with the dough. Charlie spent months on the trail of the wild bunch, but let old Butch Cassidy go. And Charlie Siringo, he loved a fandango, and no one can argue with that. He would ride in a minute for the pure glory in it, then he'd fight at the drop of a hat. Like wild Texas gringo, Charlie Siringo, he rounded 'em up mighty fine. And I am a friend of old Charlie Siringo, and Charlie's an old friend of mine. Charlie Siringo was 51 years old in the summer of 1906. After 22 years as a cowboy detective, he figured he'd just call it quits. Now old Charlie understood he needed a livelihood. He couldn't get by on his looks. So Charlie remembered his Wild West adventures and wrote them all down in his book. Now Charlie Siringo, he loved a fandango, and no one can argue with that. He would ride in a minute for the pure glory in it, then he'd fight at the drop of a hat. That wild Texas gringo, Charlie Siringo, he rounded 'em up mighty fine. And I am a friend of old Charlie Siringo, Charlie's an old friend of mine. That's why I'm a friend of old Charlie Siringo, and Charlie's an old friend of mine.
night when the moon was bright on the moonlit glade. That is where I found my little Cherokee maid. The memory of that night of love is lingering yet, and I know I never will forget my little Cherokee maiden. I love her so, and though we're far apart, I know I'll never be trading my love for her for anybody else's heart. Someday I'll make a trip back to that Cherokee Strip, and I'll carry her away with me. And straight as an arrow flies, we'll ride to paradise, my sweet little chickadee, my little Cherokee maiden and me. Yes, sir. Wow. Brother Dog. I do believe. Yes, sir. Oh, now. My little Cherokee maiden, I love her so, and though we're far apart, I know I'll never be trading my love for her for anybody else's heart. Someday I'll make a trip back to the Cherokee Strip, and I'll carry her away with me. And straight as an arrow flies, we'll ride to paradise, my sweet little chickadee, my little Cherokee maiden and me. Oh.
I gotta gather up my tack, finish running off the slack. There's another rodeo tomorrow night. It's 500 miles from here, I got time for one short beer. Lord, I hope some fool don't start a fight. A pretty girl gave me a glass, I wish I stayed for the dance, but I guess I better head on down the road. There's a truck stop down the line, guess that I could spare the time for some coffee and some pie a la mode. And I've got those rodeos, just one more show, and then I'm gonna quit tomorrow blues. Turnout fines and little white lines, I can't even pay my association dues. I've been drawing up real bad in the midst of good ones that I had, and about the time I think it's all down pat, the announcer says +10, you broke the barrier again, and they don't write no checks for 15 flat. But if I can just hang on till Fort Worth and San Antonio, well, I'm bound to throw one down and make some time. And I'll have money in my jeans, spend on pretty dance hall queens, cigarettes and Skol and apple wine. And I've got those rodeos, just one more show, and then I'm gonna quit tomorrow blues. Turnout fines and little white lines, I can't even pay my association dues. I can't even pay my PRCA dues. Little Joe the Wrangler will wrangle nevermore. His days with the remuda, they're all done. Long about last April when he rode into our camp, just a little Texas stray and all alone. Long late in the evening when he rode into our camp, on a little old brown pony he called John. His brogan shoes and coveralls, a harder looking king you never in your life had seen before. My saddle was a southern cat built many years ago. Had an okay spur on one foot, idly hung. His hot roll and a cotton sack was loosely tied behind, and a canteen from the saddle horn he'd slung. Said he'd had to leave his home because his pa had married twice, and his new ma beat him every day or two. So he saddled up old Chaw one night and lit a shuck this way. Thought he'd try and paddle now his own canoe. Said he'd try and do the best he could if we'd only give him work, though he didn't know straight up about a cow. So the boss, he cut him out a mount and kinder put him on. Then we knew he liked our little stray somehow, 'cause he taught him how to herd the horses and learn to know them all, and round them up by daylight if he could. Then to follow the chuck wagon and to always hitch the team, and to help the cuss and narrow Russellwood. We'd driven to Red River and the weather it was fine. We camped down on the south side in a bend when a norther started blowing, and we called the extra guard, 'cause it took all hands to hold a cattle in. And now little Joe the Wrangler was called out with all the rest, and barely had the kid got to the herd when the cattle they stampeded like a hailstorm long they flew, with all of us riding for the lead. Then between the streaks of lightning we could see a horse ahead. Was little Joe the Wrangler in the lead. He was riding old Blue Rocket with his slicker o'er his head, and he's trying to check the leaders in their speed. Well, we finally got 'em milling and they sort of quieted down, and the extra guards back to the camp they'd go. One of them was missing, we all knew at a glance, was our little Texas stray, poor Wrangler Joe. Now we found him there at sunup, where old Blue Rocket fell, in a washout some 20 feet below. Beneath his horse mashed to a pulp, his spurs had rung the knell for our little Texas stray, poor Wrangler Joe. And now little Joe the Wrangler will wrangle nevermore. His days with the remuda, they're all done. Was long about last April when he rode into our camp, just a little Texas stray and all alone.
Lonesome but happy, rich but I'm broke, and the good Lord knows the reason I'm just a cowpoke. From Cheyenne to Douglas, all the ranges I know, 'cause I drift with the wind, no one cares where I go. It's north in the spring if there ain't a big drought, then as soon as it frosts I'll be heading back south. But I ain't gotta worry, 'cause I ain't got time, I'm too busy a-living this free life of mine. Some evening in the springtime, a filly I'll find, and I might spend all summer with her on my mind. But I'll never be branded and never be broke. I'm a carefree range riding, drifting cowboy.
Have you ever seen those gals in New York City? Well, they fix up mighty glamorous, kind of tall and lean, dressed up in the latest styles from Paris. They're the kind that grace the cover of those fashion magazines. And way out west in Southern California, I've seen them Star State. The ladies sure look great, no matter what their figure. If they're young or old, they'll be wearing Wranglers, ropers, and a big white resistor. Oh, I swear it beats all I have ever seen. Them Wranglers, ropers, and a big white resistor, a walking revelation of a cowboy's dream. Around Chicago, they bundle up from head to toe in full-length furs, and the southern belles down south in Alabama, they wrap a little lace around a pretty face with a string of pearls. Seems like everywhere you go across this country, fashions change as quick as women change their minds. But back home on the range, three things never change. Deep in the heart of Texas, you will always find them wearing Wranglers, ropers, and a big white resistor. Oh, I swear it beats all I have ever seen. Them Wranglers, ropers, and a big white resistor, a walking revelation of a cowboy's dream. A walking revelation of a cowboy's dream. Hey, it was cool at night and we were sitting alone at the table. She's acting quiet and shy. I got to thinking we're willing and able. But when she started to speak, to say the least, hey, I lost my place in the line. She had my undivided, it was all decided when she spoke her mind. She said, if your pie needs cutting or your dog needs to go hunting, I'm the one to call. If you got brush to burn or money to earn, I'm the one you ought to haul. If you got memories to shake or a back Some people tells it like it is, some tells it like they wished it was. Some people tell you the truth, some might lie just because. But when a woman bears her soul, it's something to behold, and she can tell it like it's never been said. I still wake up from sleeping with these words repeating in my head. She said, if your pie needs cutting or your dog needs to go hunting, I'm the one to call. If you got brush to burn or money to earn, I'm the one you ought to haul. If you got memories to shake or a back that aches, hey, I can rub them both right out of your mind. If you got trouble cooking grits or a hair to split, I'm the one to find. Cutting or your dog needs to go hunting, I'm the one to call. If you got brush to burn or money to earn, I'm the one you wanna haul. If you got memories to shake or a back that aches, hey, I can rub them both right out of your mind. If you got trouble cooking grits or a hair to split, I'm the one to find. If you got trouble cooking grits or a hair to split,